Yo, what's goody? It's Bear in the building. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Kueen Talk. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. Also, make sure to check out queentalk.com, you guys. It is a new revamped website and it is looking good. It's looking great. Just go check that out. Today, y'all, we got a good guest. We got a good guest based out of San Diego, California. We got TaiReikca L.A. Thank you, TaiReikca, for coming on here. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Like I said earlier, I'm glad we finally connected. We got you on here.
For sure. My name is TaiReikca L.A. I use they, them, their pronouns, and I identify as non-binary.
Okay. And like I said, you're in San Diego, California. Were you born and raised in San Diego?
Nah. I was born and raised in Indianapolis,
Okay.
Indiana. Yeah.
Okay. What brought you to take you to San Diego?
My ex.
Okay. Hey, but you stayed. That's obviously.
I stayed. Yeah, I didn't really have a choice. And I didn't really know where I wanted to go, so I just kind of just stayed. And now I've been starting to find my way here and figure it out, and I really do like it. I like it so
How long
much.
have you been there?
It'll be 5 years in July.
Okay, 5 years. Okay. How old are you?
I say I'm ageless.
Okay.
I stole that from Prince, you know.
Okay. I love it. So you've been in there, San Diego for 5 years. My number is 28, by the way. I'm forever 28.
I'll feel that.
That's my number. But you were there for 5 years. What was Indianapolis like, though?
Oh man, I actually haven't lived there since 2009. But it's Midwest. The Midwest is kind of it's like mixing the East Coast with the South a little bit, with roots from the South. So it's a big city, but still at the same time it feels like a small city because everybody knows somebody or knows somebody. But I'm grateful that I grew up there and was raised there.
Yeah, I'm Midwest too. I'm here in Kansas, so
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit about that Midwest life. Did you graduate high school and stuff from there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like demographic wise? Was there a lot of people of color? Was it mostly white?
It was a good mix,
Oh,
honestly,
good.
if I remember correctly. Like neighborhoods, like for lack of better terms, are not segregated, but it's either like black people in this one, white people in this one, and then you got neighborhoods that are mixed with everybody. But yeah, you grew up around all kinds of people. For my mother for the most part, and my father, but I stayed with my father like mainly on the weekends. And I lived with him my senior year in high school. My mom was married for a little bit, so I had my stepdad. We lived with my grandma a good amount of time, so definitely
Been
had
there,
some grandma.
them grandmas hold it down. Them grandmas hold it
Baby,
down.
everybody done had to live with their grandma at least once in their lifetime. I swear.
Grandmas be holding it down, boy.
They do. But for the most part, I say I was raised by a village. It took a
Yeah,
village.
for sure. I feel that. Does your family know like your identity and stuff like that? They're cool with it.
That was a journey. They I don't think that well. So I told my parents and my siblings that I'm non-binary. My siblings get it, and my nieces and nephews they get it, and they try to do their best to remember my pronouns. My mom is trying as well. She tries, and that's a real long way from where it came, like from when I first came out in high school. So they all know I'm queer. That's for
Hmm.
sure. I think I'm also the weirdo in the family. So they just like, Tariq just gonna do Tariq. It is what it is.
Yeah, we call that the black sheep. The black sheep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel that though too. I'm like that in my family too, but I feel like our character like grows for us like how we're able to be the black sheep. Like the people underneath us, like your cousins, your siblings, they'll see you and be like, okay, I don't have to fit like the norm of things. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's all good. You ain't the weirdo, the outcast. Um, so what was that like for you when you came out in high school then?
It was rough. It was rough, my family's Christian, and so that, that didn't align with the Bible and shit. And, I think, like looking at it, like I'm not a parent, but just thinking from my parents' standpoint, when you born, and I was the firstborn. So it's like they have this vision of how, they might want their children to be, or what they see for their kids. And when that doesn't necessarily align, it's like, what? Um, but it was rough, mama didn't understand it, and pops trying to like persuade me to like guys and shit, and then they trying to throw in the Bible verses and shit. So like I honestly, like I just try to stay at school as much as possible. You're already there during the day, so I would stay after for like to do homework, or I got involved in like extracurricular activities like year round. So I was at school more than I was at home. And at school I felt like at school I could be more myself, whereas when I was at home, like just not necessarily. I was me, but it just they ain't like it. I just put it
Yeah.
like that.
It
Yeah, it's a
came
little
with all
rough.
the extra. See, and you
Yeah,
bring up just like in your story, just of saying that like your safe space was your school, and you were able to be yourself. And right now, like what they're doing with the kids, they're the safe space that's been created. They're kind of like trying to take that away, and
yeah,
so hopefully, it gets better.
yeah. It's like even if like they might have rules and some shit, it's like when I was in school, like I ain't care. I was just me, my friends for the most part. They knew me, they accepted me, and like just it is what it is. But yeah, I really hope I mean, I think they might have it a little easier these days, because these days feel like a lot more accepting than when we was in high school.
Right? Yeah.
So hopefully it's gotten better since
Yeah.
we got out.
For sure, for sure. I think, yeah, and I think like the representation, like just be having that awareness. Social media has helped out a lot too, just like making it
Yeah.
accessible and stuff for
Mhm.
people to find what they're looking for, like being direct with it too. Did you have like any representation for yourself, like growing up? Like, where did you go to look to see other queer people?
I made it up in my mind, man. I
For
mean, there don't get me wrong, there was a few queer people back in high school that was out, but it was it wasn't a lot of us. And I don't think I ever really had like a model of who I was or who I wanted to be. Even though like it could be it grew to kind of be accepting of queer people. Like it was still in that like heteronormative sense of where like who's the man, who's the woman, like who's assuming masculine roles, who's assuming feminine roles. And I just knew like that kind of like being boxed in, like that wasn't me. So uh I didn't really have like a model. But when I learned how to catch a city bus and learn about pride, then
when
my
was
summer.
that? Were you still in high school, or was that after high school?
I think I want to say that was my first Pride. I think it was like right after high school. I think it was the summer after my senior year. Like I actually went to Pride and was like, "Oh snap! Gay people everywhere is rainbow. Oh shit! I found my peoples."
That's dope. That's dope. I don't remember my first Pride. Like that's
Really?
it was. I guess I do remember it. It just wasn't that exciting. I guess.
I see.
It just. I don't know. It just. I don't know what your Pride looked like, but it just like it was. Oh, it was very kiddish. Like there was a lot of kids there.
Mhm.
But I don't know, like 8 years ago. But you got on that city bus and you was like, oh, okay, that was it. Took off.
Yeah, it took off. Like riding downtown, we rode past it like before the stop, and I'm like, oh, like just seeing like how much of how much of the block it took up, and then seeing like some of my friends from high school up in there, and I was like, oh shit, what up, you know?
Making those connections like there while you're there.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
That's
I was like, no, go ahead, my bad.
no, you seen some people that you didn't think were part of the community there.
Oh yeah, and one of them we actually we grew up in the same church for a while, and I was like, I saw him, and we saw each other. I was like, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Like, and we just hugged each other. And he's also hard of hearing, so he was with his friends, and he was like cited to him that he like knew me when we were like little, and I'm like, I did not know you were queer, and I'm like, it makes so much sense now because my stepdad used to joke around about how me and him would be together, and we both was the queer ones, man. We was both.
Wow, wow. You that just like brings up just like faith. And is are you still faith? Do you still like believe in God and stuff like that? Are you still part of the religion? No.
Nah. Yeah, I had a whole spiritual awakening, and I just, like when growing up Christian, and also just growing up in a black household, you're taught to, you don't question God, you don't question adults, you kind of just take what they tell you and just that's that. But when I actually started to really question and like think about the answers, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I started questioning myself, why would I be a part of a religion that says I'm going to hell just because of who I am? And then, and like religion, it's very like kind of cookie cutter where you got to fit into this mold. And I'm like, my spirit has no boundaries. Like this, I don't want to be a part of this. And then, of course, learning the history behind religion, and especially like the way Christianity is taught these days. I was just like, yeah, nah, it ain't for me. So I believe God is within us, and to each his own. If that religion makes you a better person, and makes you like helps you attain your highest consciousness, more power to you. But to me, I don't need a religion to tell me how to be a good person or to tell me how to live.
Yeah. I had my um how do I say it? I've I had that feeling too. Just like when I first like came out, and just the what I felt when I would go to churches, right? Just like that hate, that hatefulness, and just like you said, like what they say in the church. But then like the past few years, I found my way back to just like faith, and making that for me, and what that looks like for me. And I found a church online. I would love to find a church in person, but just because like it is very uplifting for me. Like, and I'm like very blessed and highly favored. I just, and so like this church I found online, they haven't so far. It's been a really good. I've been going like watching for 2 years now, and so far I'm just like, okay, it's good. Of course, like they say, like they say things like traditional, like when he's speaking, but I haven't ever heard him. The mission is love God, love people, and make a difference. If that's your
Hmm.
motto, then I mean,
I feel that.
so I really enjoy the church that I go to online. It's Rock
Yes.
City. I would love to go in person too, to really get a feel sometime. But yeah, Pastor Mike Jr. he he hasn't steered me wrong so far. And do you feel like that's, you said you found it afterwards within yourself? Do you feel like it happened because of just like what you went through when you came out? Those is that why you think you feel the way you do?
I think that definitely played into it. Um, Yeah, yeah, it definitely played into it. Because when it comes to that kind of stuff, you can really see like the hatefulness of people start to come out. You start to see the hypocrisy start to come out, and yeah, I think also just like I kind of evolved past that. Like my evolution took me off of the religious path, and But yeah, the queerness definitely had something to do with it. And just also, just the history, just as being a black person in America, to me, like that's the religion that was forced on us. And it no disrespect to anyone whose religion that is, but for me, like, it was more of a cutoff from my power. But some people find their power through that. That's cool. So I think you just gotta find where your power is.
Yeah, that just reminded me of just like the movie Sinners. Have you seen it yet?
Not yet. I'm trying to go see that tonight, bro. I'm trying to go see
You
it
need to go
tonight,
see
man.
it tonight. You need to go see it tonight.
Yeah.
It is a good movie. Ryan, I think it's cool. Was it
Is it
Cooliger?
Coogler? I think it's Coogler.
Yeah, Ryan
Coogler.
Coogler. Yeah,
Oh,
genius. He's
Gene,
amazing.
I've
He's
been
amazing.
hearing, yeah, I've been hearing
Like,
so much good stuff about it.
hmm I didn't like Pat, and he did like Panther too. Like, I didn't even put that together until like afterwards. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and he did
he's.
Fruitvale Station too. Him and Michael B. Jordan. So like,
I feel, yeah, Michael B. Jordan is his go to guy. So
it's like
it's
my bad. Sorry.
no. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's like when you hear a Jordan Peele movie coming out, you already know it's gonna be fire. If Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan on a movie together, it's gonna be fire. So you gotta go see
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly why I seen it. I was just like, oh, I seen Michael B. Jordan on it, and then I ain't gonna lie, I watched the trailer and I was like, oh nah. It's like, no, this is not a movie that I would go see because I don't like horror movies at all. I like
Oh,
that's
really?
not. I am no way. No, I am terrified of scary movies. The last scary movie I watched was The Conjuring, and
Oh
it scared me.
shit.
I was like that. I was like, it's real. I was like, oh no. I was like, yep, no, not doing this again. And that was the last time. So when I seen the trailer, I was like, yeah, doesn't look like my type of movie. And then like once the second week came out, and then all the reviews were coming out, and people were talking about it, I was like, okay, it's not that scary from the sounds of it. And
Mhm.
so when I did, I was like, okay, we can go watch it. We can go check it out. And I did. And I was like, oh yeah, very very glad I did. I did. I didn't chicken
Man.
out. But no,
Yeah.
I'm so scared. I'm a scary person. I am.
Well, I mean, if you live in Kansas, I'm just guessing there's a lot of open fields and cornfields and shit. That shit can be scary at night. So I get that. I get that,
I,
man.
I ain't that scared. But now that you say that, I don't even go to haunted houses. Like, that's not something that I just
Really?
me dude. I'll tell you this
No.
story.
So,
Me and two of my homeboys, we went to this haunted house that was like homemade, and they did it out of their garage, and it was made out of trash bags, right?
oh
As
shit.
soon as we walk into the door, as soon as we walk into the door and they shut it, Scream comes chasing after us, and I literally scream and just like run and tumble down and literally tear down the whole haunted house. It's all torn down. They had to stop. They had to
No.
they had to close down for the night. They were like, "We're banned." I was like, "I'm never coming back. I mean, you don't have to worry about me getting banned." I was like, "You did your job and you scared me, but you made it out of trash bags." And it was
Bruh.
like, yeah. So I don't do that. I tried it again years later,
Uh-huh.
and I'm standing in line. I paid for my ticket. I'm standing in line, and then Chainsaw Massacre comes running out at the end, like they scare people to run out, right? And so he
Dude.
comes to the line, comes directly towards me, and is literally chasing. I'm like dug down, just scared, screaming, terrified, and he's like over my head. And I was like, "Yep." I didn't even go inside. I didn't go inside. I just went back to the car, waited for everybody else, and just chilled out. Just chilled out. And I've never been back, and I don't plan to go to a haunted house ever, ever. So
Bro, I
no,
think your friends might want you to go just so they can record what
they
happens just before
do.
you even get.
They do. My two best friends. They always try to get me out of my comfort zone and doing things,
Mm.
and I won't do it again though. I won't do that again. Mm-mm.
Man.
No.
I would say it is, but I like going to haunted houses if I'm going with friends, cause that should be funny. Like,
Mm-mm. I don't want to get
Yeah,
paid. I don't want to pay anyone to scare me. That's
I
not.
get that.
And that's another thing with like the 4th of July. I don't want to pay to blow up my money. Like that's those two things. I just never got on the never got on the train
That,
with.
nope, I get you. I get you.
Oh, man. And man, my friends are gonna crack up when they hear that part of the story. That was so long ago. But yeah, you definitely should go see Sinners. I hope you go see that tonight. Like, I'm gonna text you tonight and make sure you go check it out.
That yeah, I got a friend. She was like, "No, friend, go see it and call me when you do." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go see it."
Yeah, it is good. So you Indiana is where you grew up, and that's where you said you got up out of there. Where'd you go after Indiana?
After that, I went to Alabama for college. So I went to
Mm,
Alabama State HBCUs represent. Yeah,
okay, nice.
yeah, and then I went to California. I went to California Institute of the Arts for grad school. And then after that, I was in Memphis for a little bit working at a community theater. And then then I went to Oregon and was working at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And then COVID hit. And then that's when me and my partner at the time, we moved down to San Diego.
Okay. Did you in your schooling were you like it obviously in like the arts? Were you like media production or something or
I don't
what you
know.
do?
I graduated with my bachelor's in theater performance from undergrad, and then my master's is MFA in stage management. So I kind of did went with like the theater route of the arts.
Okay. Are you doing that now? Is that still what you like want to pursue? Like, okay, what's the latest thing? What do you got coming up?
So right now I am my official title right now is production facilitator for the Performing Arts District,
Oh,
and I'm also production manager for their School of Theater.
dope, dope. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, I mean,
Uh,
San Diego treated you right then. It was,
It is. It is. It's yeah. No, I definitely I like the community here, and I'm also an actor, so I perform or do stage readings or act when I can or when time permits. And yeah, yeah, San Diego, it's like I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be right now, you know? Um, yeah.
that morning glory, that spot. I still dream about that brunch spot. Have you been to Morning
Yeah,
Glory?
I haven't yet. People have told me about it. But I gotta try it out.
Yeah, like the vibe there. I was like, man, this is what a brunch is supposed to feel like. Like
Ooh.
it is. It's a good vibe there. You have to check it out.
Oh, most
Um,
that, most that.
I've been to there twice in San Diego. Like both times I visited, I was like, "Yep, we're going to Morning Glory," and you got to get there early because like the line is
Mhm.
long. Like it's a long
Oh,
line to get in. So
okay.
yeah, be prepared
I'll
though.
try it. Be fair to wait.
Yep,
I'll
be
I'll have a
prepared.
book with me. I always got. Where I'll be carrying around. I'll be have carrying around a Shakespeare book, and I just be reading Shakespeare. Motherfuckers like, hey, Shakespeare, like,
That
please give me a line where I could just read something. I got you.
that's Shakespeare's what you like to read though.
I do. I like to read Shakespeare. I don't know. I'm starting to find it fun to try to like decipher what he's saying, and
Hmm.
figure out and like get to know the language more. It's like the more I read the language or listen to the language, the easier it is for me to understand it just by like when I go to see like a Shakespeare show. Then I can it really helps me to start to understand the language better, and it's so poetic. Like I love poetry too, so like just how it flows and stuff is yeah. I'm a theater nerd in that way. Love me
Yeah,
some Shakespeare.
and you said you're an artist too, aren't you? Like, do you produce music too, or?
Nah, that's more my brothers. Like both my brothers, they're more of the on the music side. I was in marching band in high school, and I also did symphonic band. So like I still love music. I play alto, baritone, tenor saxophone. We probably still play the euphonium. That's what I did in marching band. I love
You
playing
got
the
all
harmonica.
trades, all trades.
I'm an artist. I'm an artist. Like there ain't no bounds to it. No
I
bounds.
love that. I love that. Man, San Diego is such a beautiful place too. Pride's
Hmm.
coming up. You guys don't. It's not in June though. I think it's July.
It's July down here, and I didn't start noticing that until like I mean I noticed a little bit when I was in Oregon because just because like where the Shakespeare Festival is up there, it's a small town, like not a city, it's a small town, it's tiny,
Mhm.
especially like compared to major cities and stuff, but like there's the festival there, and then there's I think the Southern Oregon University. So like June, there's not a lot of people there, so they hold their pride I think in like August. I think
Mm.
August is when they hold it because that's when there's like more people there. And then I got down here and like Pride happens in July. So yeah, I'm starting to notice, but it's like yes, let's just spread the whole let's spread the queerness throughout the year and just have
Yeah,
pride every month
that
somewhere.
hey, as we should, as
Come
we
on,
should.
you know,
Um, have you experienced San Diego Pride? Have you
not yet,
not
not
yet?
yet. Yeah, I have.
Tyreekka,
I was
what
driving.
what are you doing in San Diego? What have you been doing? Like, have you been exploring? Have you just been just work home? What have you been doing?
It's kind of just been working home. I go out every now and then. I'm an old soul, so I'm a homebody. If I'm paying all this money in rent, like that's what I'm doing. I'm enjoying my rent. So I'm enjoying my rent, and I'm sleeping, and I'm like watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra on reruns. But no, I go out sometimes. So I like to go to one of my favorite things to do is go to the beach at nighttime and
Mm,
just lay out on the beach, just listen to the ocean talk, look at the sky, like if the moon is out or the stars are out, I like that. My friends ask me to go out. I'll go out to like Hillcrest, which is like the big gay neighborhood here. So I'll go out sometimes. I'll go see different theaters. We got a lot of good theater around the city.
hmm.
And sometimes I go up to LA to see my friends who do theater, like and try to support their work. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just be chilling. I know I gotta get out more. I'm working on it.
No, it
I'm
sounds like
working
you
on
are
it.
getting out though. You get out just in different in the theater world. Like that's cool. I was just like wondering, like, how have you been making friends? Like, how do you connect with like other people?
I got just kind of at work
Yeah.
and when I go to theater. But yeah, I don't. I'm a solo person. It's like I got friends, I got family. I'm cool. I no, I ain't going out there trying to like make new friends or nothing. Just yeah, not my thing.
Yeah, no, I just moving into a whole new city, and just like finding that core group of people to connect with can be difficult sometimes. I know people that just move and it just like that's why they come back home because
Mm,
finding that it's hard to find friends these days. Good
yeah.
people.
Yeah, and I think that's probably more of it too, like if I meet like, make new connections with the theater, like maybe we'll go like through theater folks, we'll go hang out and stuff, but I'm not actively out there trying to find people. I mean, community is good, but for me, like I'm like a lone wolf. I'm cool by my lonesome. I'm good with my solitude. We good. We good.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. Do you so since you haven't been to Pride, like have you found like a network of like queer friends like in San Diego, or are most of your friends straight?
Um I don't really got a lot of friends, you know. I mean, I got, there's the acquaintances that I've met through theater,
Hmm.
and I say hashtag everybody gay. So,
Everybody a
most of the
little bit gay. I always say it's
everybody,
everybody, yeah,
everybody got a little bit of rainbow in them. It's
yeah,
just how we raised and what we believe. We kind of gear one way or the other. But I mean, I would say my coworkers. It's a good balance of queer and non-queer folk. But yeah, no, I don't really got a lot of friends here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you queer just reminded me, just like you said that you're non-binary. When did you like identify as non-binary? Like when you first came out in high school, were you just like, I'm just queer, non-binary, or was that just like a transition to get to that point?
It was a transition to get to this point. Back then, I still use she, her pronouns. And it's crazy. Like I was never really cool with gender. Like like even looking back when I was little, when I started to realize there was a difference between how boys were treated and girls were treated, and people started, try to force those limits on me, like, oh, you a girl, you can't do this. I never really liked that shit. So, but I coming to the terms that I am non-binary. That happened recently. I want to say I started like wondering in probably like 2020, after the shutdown when we had to stay home, and like I actually just was trying to take the time to like start to decipher things and reflect on life and try to figure out who I was. And around 2021, that's when I was like, no, no, I'm non-binary. I thought I identified as a woman, and I would have worked really hard to be comfortable with identifying as a woman, but I realized that it I worked hard to identify with something that I wasn't, and then I was like, yeah, nah, mm-mm. So that's more of a recent thing, realizing that. And so, like, of course, in high school, like I said, I was a lesbian. I love women. That's who I love. But now, like, it's like a lesbian is a woman who loves women, and it's like I'm not a woman, so
Mm.
that's why I say I'm queer. It's just like, as long as I ain't hetero, like
Yeah.
I ain't hetero. Just please
Yeah.
please don't put me in that category. To me, that's an insult. I'm like, I got too much flavor. How do you think, like, when people be like, oh, you got a boyfriend? I literally look like, where are you getting that? I am insulted that you would think I am hetero. What? How did make it make sense, Dooney?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like I've like stopped trying to like label anybody these days. Like I'm just like anybody,
Right,
like you
I
said,
feel that.
anybody can be gay, anybody can be attracted to whoever. Like it could look like a heterosexual relationship, it could look like a queer relationship. Like I'm just like really like moving forward like these. Like, I'm really trying to be mindful of that, of just like not labeling anybody. Just even so, like I have to watch myself, like when I'm asking people to be on the podcast, because I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't like at the beginning of this, I would just like assume someone's gay, right? And I just be like,
Uh-huh.
go up to them in public and just be like, put them on the spot, like, hey, I have a podcast, da, da, da. And I just realized the reactions that I was getting when I would ask people, like, it's like not everybody's just like comfortable, first off, and not
Yeah.
everybody that you even ask is a part of the like that are
Yeah, I
out
feel that.
yet or whatever it may be. And it's just like I was like, okay, I got to take a different approach on this. All right. So I got cards. Actually, I got cards made, and I'm just like, now it's just like an
Nice.
easier way to just be like, hey, I got this podcast, because the podcast is for everybody, queers and
Mhm.
allies. So
I
like
feel
that's how I open it up now. So it doesn't make it seem like I'm just trying to
that.
single anybody out.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Respect.
but I could see why you don't want to be seen as a heterosexual relationship, because nah.
I'm just like, nah, like, bro, like, no, 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 like, it's okay. I'm queer. It's okay. It's like, I like, assume it. Assume I'm queer. Assume it. It's okay.
Yeah, but it's good on you though for like leaning into that, like your identity and like who you are. You said it happened recently, because I feel like it is like ever changing. Like growing up for us, like it was this way or this way. It wasn't all this like, okay, just figure it out for yourself, like mold yourself into who you are, like not
Yeah.
you can pick and choose, like, okay, these little things about yourself, and just like it brings your identity of who you are. But so like it's good that you realize who you are, at this moment, whether it was later or now. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
awesome.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's all in timing. All in timing.
And do you feel like have you entered into a relationship yet as being non-binary, or is like this is like new, like you haven't entered into that dating world yet?
Nah, like this is when I started to identify this way. It happened towards the end of my last relationship, and just after that, I just don't really have a desire to be in a relationship. To me, like that person was my person. But since that's not the case anymore, it's like I don't know. I don't have a desire to be with anybody, to be in a relationship, and at the same time, like my job, like because of my job, whenever I'm in, like a lot of times when I'm doing theater, it is from like a stage management perspective, a production management perspective, and those roles calls for you to worry about everybody else, making sure everybody else is good. So it's like in my career, all I'm doing is caring for other people. And at this point, like in my personal life, I ain't got the energy to be caring about anybody else's child. Like so I need to pour all of that into me, and I think I need that right now.
Yeah, good, good. Like I feel like sometimes people just like rush into like the next relationship, trying to like fix fix it within that relationship, and it is good to take time for yourself,
Yeah.
and acknowledge like, yeah, that's why you on this. That's why you on this solo journey, Taika. It's all making sense now. This is why
Yeah.
solo. I'm trying to get this Zen in for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when I wake up every day, I want to look in the mirror and be proud of myself, and I want to make sure that I'm pouring into myself. I can't do that if I got to worry about, respecting somebody else's boundaries, not saying the wrong thing, and it's just too much. There was a situationship that I had recently with someone who I really just wanted to be friends with, but they wanted something, but they unadmittedly wanted something more, and it started to morph into reminisce of a relationship, and then it's like I ain't got time for this, bro. I told you from the get this is not what I want, and so unfortunately, like I had to distance myself from that person and it would suck because like I genuinely was like, oh snap, I think I finally had a friend here. I thought I had finally found a friend, and we just on two different places, and so it's like I had to be like, yep, nah, cause like no, this is what I hate. No, I
Yeah,
don't want to worry about. No,
yeah. Got to set the boundaries for yourself.
I think that's why, like you said, like that's what more why I'm like I'm cool on friends. I'm not necessarily looking to join it because it's like it seems like anytime I do that this ends up happening, and I'm just tired of it. So I'm like, nope, I'm good. Let me just please stay away from me. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm good.
What kind of friends are you out here searching for, TaiReikca? Like, I just how do you? Because I asked this because I just had a segment on Kueen Talk where I have a group of people. We're having a conversation about platonic relationships in the queer community, and finding that with people that we don't find attracted to, but finding that people that we do may find attracted to at the same time. So like what kind of friends are you like looking for when you are looking for friends? Like,
I wasn't really looking. It just kind of happened. And like I was just trying to lean into that, like, yo, we friend, okay, let's hang out, let's do this. But now I ain't looking for no friends. I
mm-hmm.
ain't looking. I don't need no friends. I don't want no friends. Leave me alone. I got friends. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. We can be cordial if we see each other out, or if we want, like, if we're out like at Gossip Grill. That's a one of the queer places here. Like if we there and we drinking together or we dancing, it's cool. So if I did have a friend like completely 100% platonic, don't
yeah,
no like just not even crossing no bounds or no lines, because it's like whenever those it seems like whenever I do cross those lines, it just never ends up right. So I'm
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I don't
And,
want no friends, but if we come across and a friendship happens, then that's cool. But I also got to make sure like I'm having these boundaries. Like it's staying here. Are you
right.
clear on that? We
Yeah.
clear? Yeah.
Good. Like I said, good for you. Keep that course, pour into yourself, and just navigate it. And the only good's gonna come from it for sure. And just be when you're ready, if you even become ready, be better for the next for sure.
Yeah, I hope I don't ever want to. At this point, I'm saying it now. At this point, I don't want another relationship. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I will be that rich auntie that just comes through. You know, like I'll come through for the wedding. I love love, so I celebrate your love and I pour love into you. But it's like I feel like right now, like if there's any love, spare love that I have that's not for me, then I pour it into my friends. I pour it into my family. I pour it into those who are already part of my circle and already part of my and like already in the village. You know.
Mhm. This may be a really personal question that I'm about to ask, but my question is in if your ex came along and asked you, like, do you think you would get in a relationship with them? Like, did it end that way, or like,
It's complex. That's complex because I ask myself that sometimes too. You know, I would say if I was to ever consider being in a relationship again, it would be with them. It will be with her. But just because of everything we've been through, you know, I mean, it was cordial at times. At times, it wasn't ideal, and it got a little ugly at times. But so it would be a lot. It would be a lot to overcome and work through. And personally, I don't. I mean, there's always a way to come back from something. I don't necessarily see that happening. Um, but like I said, in my mind, that was my person. So,
yeah,
like, with all the love that we did share, that that's enough to consider, like, possibly going that road again. But for the most part, I, if anything, I would be grateful just to have them as a friend again. And if all it was friendship, I would, I would be grateful for that. But I'm not. But at this point, I'm thinking, yeah, nah, maybe this ain't a part of my life journey for this lifetime.
yeah,
I can be I'm cool with that, you know.
yeah. I just asked that because I'm just like, okay, you want to be by yourself, like, and that's cool. Some people, a lot of people do that for like just like a solo journey for a time period, and eventually they're like, okay, I'll get there. But you're like, no, like this is, I'm solo. I'm cool with that being that. So I just like I was curious, like, okay, what if that one came back? Would you?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's
Yeah,
you know, I always say that I always have one thing made up in my mind, and then the universe comes and because like my ex, that's what happened. Like I was in a point, I was like, nah, man, I'm single. I'm cool with this, and I was finding my happiness with being single, and I was like, I'm gonna be single the rest of my life. It's probably what's gonna happen because the shit just never works out. But then she came along and like I was like, okay, maybe this is why it happened. You know,
yeah,
so like things can always happen to change your mind, but where I'm at right now, like maturity wise, I'm like, yeah, nah, maybe I need to actually work hard and stick to my guns when I say single. So even and I do recognize that like, you know, things change. I'm gonna change. You know,
hmm,
I'm not the same person I was a month ago, and that person is way different than who I was like a year before that. So you never know what life's gonna throw at you and what's gonna come along, what's gonna enter your path. But you know, at this moment I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good.
yeah. That's yeah, and it's your journey, and you'll figure it out. And I wanted to ask just like about your journey, like now with like you said you recently did um, acknowledge like yourself as like non-binary, and you came to your mom and that she's trying to do better with that, and your siblings have overcome that too. But you didn't mention your father at all when you said that. Is that like not a good situation or?
Oh no, it's no, me and pops, we good, we good. I don't think I don't think I've told him officially yet. However, I did mention to my bonus mom, which is his wife. I don't like saying stepmom because I'm like, no, that's a bonus mom. I got an extra mom from that, you know. I had mentioned around them that I was going to start hormone therapy. So he knows something that my mom doesn't know. And then my mom kind of knows something that he doesn't know. But you know, they have finally gotten to a place where they can love me, you know, just as their offspring, even though I might not be who like they might have pictured. So I kind of just don't really. I just kind of just. I mean, I say it around my brother, like when I'm in around my dad, I'm like I use they them their pronouns. I didn't officially like say it to my pops, but you know the love is there. You know, from my family, from my parents, might not be able to always understand it. You know, like my mom, she doesn't understand it all the times. But what she will do is she'll be like, I mean, Ty, do you know? And it's like, hey, I'll take it, mommy. I'll take it. Thank you. You know, so I appreciate that. And, you know, me and my dad, like, we actually have conversations. And even if we don't necessarily agree, I've learned how, like when I was young, I used to like just blow up and I just be like, nah, that, yep, you know, and we always like crash heads, bump heads, but it's like because we so much alike, you know. But like nowadays, like it's crazy because like when I started learning the grace of accepting my parents for who they are and not getting mad at them for who they're not or who I think they should be, simultaneously it felt like they had that same shift with me. So
Mm,
like, you know, it's just is to me. It's just is what it is, and there's just love. It's just still love there. So
yeah.
I'll take it. I'm grateful for that. You know.
Definitely. And it seems like you're having those conversations and learning and growing together. So it's always good, like if they're receptive of just like having a conversation and trying to grow,
Yeah.
and be accepting. So that's amazing. That's always a good feeling for sure.
Oh yeah, and it's especially considering like when I first came out, neither one of them was happy. They wasn't having it. You know, it wasn't the best. You know, it was very hurtful and it was a little traumatic in a way. So seeing where we started versus where we are now, you know, it's just gratitude, so much gratitude.
What do you think helped you get to the point that you are now?
uh I would say me leaving. Like I said, my mom knew first, you know. I came out to her first before I came out to my dad. And it had that situation, it had just got so crazy, which is part of the reason why I ended up moving in with my dad my senior year my senior year of high school, because I couldn't take it with my mom. It was just, nah. But me moving away, that I think that did something, because then came a little more grace and some more understanding. And with my dad, you know, and then I left for college after my senior year, and we still had like our bumps in the road, but like, and I like had to like have some, like, say some tough shit at times. But I think distance really helped, you know. Cause it's like, okay, then I'm just moving. Like, I was determined. I was just like, okay, y'all can't accept me. I'm running away. I ain't never coming back, you know. And for lack of better terms, that's what I did. You know, I left for college. I came home for holidays and for the summer sometime, but that was it. I never came back home. Never went back home. And I think that distance kind of just amplified the love that was there, you know. And I don't know what they went through with me not being around, but yeah, I would just say the distance, probably just me moving out, and then me like starting to love who I was and love myself and ground myself in that. And they saw, and I think when they saw like that wasn't going to change, and then there was a whole like I stepped away from the religion and kind of shit. It was just like, yeah, the black sheep going black sheep, so
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
accept it.
That's yeah. I think you finding that distance too, and just like you said, growing for yourself and standing on it. Like this is and leaning into it, just like and growing because I think when we're not in that environment, we're able to like flourish a little bit more. Like just like you said, like your
Yeah.
say earlier, your safe space was like at school when you're able to flourish. But then when you're out the house completely, yeah, there's no
Hmm.
boundaries at that point. Like,
Yeah, and then when you get out, like I mean, going from the Midwest to the Bible Belt, that's a whole culture shock. And then going from the Bible Belt to the West Coast, that's a whole nother culture shock. So I think also me leaving really worked well for me, because then it's like your mind expands, that's why like that's why like those real small towns like in the middle of the country where people never freaking left, and they all have everyone has that same mindset, that same way of thinking, that's why they stay stagnant. I got out, and so I started learning about different cultures within like this country, and different ways of doing things and how people see things, and it really just broadened my mind and expanded it in such a way that like it was necessary for my growth as a like just as a person.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And speaking of growth as a person, we mentioned you like realizing you're non-binary, but you threw in there that you're talking about hormonal therapy too. So that's recent. Like, have you started that? Like, is that coming up or?
Yeah, I started back in December. I started taking testosterone. Not like not the dosage that like someone who is transgender would take, but so it's a smaller dose. But I was just like, I want like my inside, I want to feel balanced internally, with my energies. And I think the testosterone is really helping that. And also like if it does change my outer appearance in some way, I'm open to it, because like I want to see myself. I want to see who I am in the mirror. And it's kind of hard to see that when it's just like mainly estrogen just going through your body. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that was recent, but I've been really, I'm liking it. I'm liking
that's
what it's doing.
that's good. And the fact that you said it's like you're you're not trying to transition fully, like you're taking a lower dose, which I've this is the first time like I'm hearing of like that experience of just like just making it for themselves. So just like if someone else is like listening to this, that's a possibility for them to do too. Just like you don't have to do go full transition, like you can do like your slow
Yeah,
journey in their own experience. So that's dope.
yeah. Luckily, I did a show with we did a production of As You Like It, and the entire cast was non-binary, trans, and queer actors, and that it was so dope to be in a space like that where like everybody like it's like, oh, these are pronouns, and everybody just has it. I was like, wait, what? And then like I'm talking to like there was trans men in the cast, and I didn't even know that they were trans. I didn't even know they were trans. And I'm like, wait, you're trans? And they're like, yeah. And so like I'm like, can I ask you questions about your journey and stuff? And they were really receptive and open. And then there were also the trans women in the cast. They also encouraged me. They're like, no, I think you will be really good at I think the hormone therapy will be real good for you. And I was like, but I don't want to transition into being a man. And they was like, no, you can take smaller doses. I'm like, wait, there's dosage sizes? Are you kidding? And they're like, yeah. And so I started looking into it. And when I found a program that's helping me with the prescriptions. So I was like, yeah, no, okay,
That's
let's try
good.
it.
That's good. See, and it's like you have to be around that representation and those people
Yeah,
to like to know about those things, and
yeah,
um, that's why I was like, yeah. good plug for Kueen Talk. No, you can do that. Like, this could be like someone listening, like that's wanting to do that. So that's awesome. That's awesome that you were able to be in like that space too, within that environment. And you said that's the one and only time that's happened in production wise.
Yeah, production wise, that's the only time that's happened. Now there, and then there's been times where like I've been like there's been an all black cast, you know, and I get to I've been an assistant stage manager for those, so that's cool. So it's like next thing on the docket is like all black and all queer cast. Like
Yes.
that's the next one. It's
Hey,
like come on, universe, give it to me.
you're speaking it into existence. Yes,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. TaiReikca, is there anything a part of your story that you're like, man, I want this to be known, be heard too?
I would say just that the story is ever evolving. You know, I think sometimes in this culture we think like you got to get to a point where you've arrived, and it's like even when you do have those moments, it's like there's always the next step, and like growth is continuous.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I was just gonna ask, what would you tell your younger self?
Ooh. Oh, I don't think we got time because that's a whole dissertation. That is a whole dissertation. I'll be like, look, okay, when you thinking of doing this, no, do that. Don't do that. Oh my, like maybe I should go upside my head, my younger self's head sometimes. But I would say, if anything, I would tell my younger self to love yourself. Love yourself more. Don't don't let the closed mindedness or the limited thinking of people put bounds on you. You know, I would tell myself lean into the questions that are there that you haven't really recognized, and know that you don't have to fit into a mold. You are boundless. Embrace it. You know, embrace who you are and love who you are. But I would think probably just more, just love yourself, little TaiReikca. Love yourself, bro.
I
You good at
love
it.
that. I love that. Love yourself. Because you're the one that wakes up with yourself every single day. You live with your thoughts, your movements. You have to have that confidence within yourself. Um,
Yeah.
I love that message. Thank you, TaiReikca, for being on this podcast today.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was really cool. It's really dope.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. So for those of you that have thought about being on the podcast, you heard what TaiReikca said. It's really dope. It's really dope.
Yeah, come be on it. Like let's just chat. Let's just have the conversations. That's how you start to change the world, I believe. It's just like one conversation at a time. You want to change the world, you start by changing yourself, and then you keep talking to others, and y'all have those conversations. Then we keep evolving, and then it's like one drop in the river. It's just a ripple that goes out, and it keeps spreading, and keeps going, and that's how we spread love around the world now.
Dropping gems. Dropping gems. I know that's right. Yes, that's for sure. You guys, come drop some raindrops on Kueen Talk. Let's go.
Let go.
Let us know what you think of this episode. TaiReikca, like I feel like your story is relatable too, just being non-binary, finding that out just recently, leaning into that, just and figuring out for yourself the solo journey that you're on, trying to navigate that too, and being okay with that. I think that's all relatable, and hopefully listeners on this podcast, if it relates to somebody, they can resonate with that and find their own experience within that. So thank you again. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think of this episode. And remember to go to kueentalk.com. kueentalk.com. Check out the new website, you guys. And yeah, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. As always, family, friends, strangers, love, and be nice.